please stand and welcome our graduates, please. Please be seated. Right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Demetrius Hill, Principal for Premier High School and Texas Works Longview. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Chuck Cook, and the staff of Premier High School and Texas Works, welcome to the commencement ceremony honoring the class of 2026. All right. Right now, if you don't mind, we would like to ask you to please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Miss Melody Carter. So come on up, Miss Carter, right around in here. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Texas flag. Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Great job. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome family, friends, faculty, and fellow students to the Premier High School and Texas Works Longview graduation. For an occasion such as this, it's easy to think, or in some cases, worry about the future. From the near future, where you wait through the next many minutes until you get the acknowledgement you've worked so hard for, to the distant future, where a dream, job, house, family awaits you. The future is all well and good, but I would ask you to put those thoughts to rest for now. These next moments will live with you forever. The same applies to the families out there. Without all the love and steadfast support that you've provided, your children probably wouldn't be here today. So these moments are to be shared with all of you. And to the faculty, I know your hearts must be heavy with loss. The birds are leaving the nest. Without your guidance, none of us would be here. Without teachers, there would be no students and no future. In all seriousness, graduates, this day, this time, and soon this memory will be yours forever. This evening, I am honored to introduce our keynote speaker, the Reverend Dr., I refer to him as Devil Dog, C.J. Tillinghouse, as our graduation speaker. I would like to tell you a little bit of an insight. I've known this gentleman for a few weeks, and we've gotten to know each other. And I think all Marines kind of know each other, right? We know each other. We've had that same shared experience of being kicked around a little bit. So Reverend Dr. C.J. Tillinghouse, a fourth-generation cattleman, but extremely importantly, he's also a fourth-generation Marine, three-time founding CEO and businessman, firefighter medic, and swift water rescue swimmer, cowboy and Methodist preacher, 21st century church planner and revitalizer with a minister doctorate in divinity and a doctorate from Osbury. 2 times retired. Twice? All right, that's nice. Pulled back into service in 2024 for the Trinity Conference of the Global Methodist Church. Ordained an elder, highly specialized in revitalization and new church planning. Without any further ado, Dr. Tillinghouse.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good job. Am I on there, Jim? Okay. I'm going to apologize to you because I'm not good behind a podium. Not where I stand, and I jump down on the floor sometimes, so don't let it scare you. Some people got to talk with their hands. I'm one of those people. Some people got to talk when they're moving. I'm one of those people. If I'm holding still behind a pulpit and hanging on to it, I'm going to go to sleep. We work hard. When we get a chance to sit down and rest, we go to sleep. We're not silly. Don't be awake when you can sleep, and get it done. So it's just an old lesson. Anyway, I want to congratulate the graduates. It's a big deal. And I know you don't think so right now. You're thinking, man, it took a little bit of work, took forever, right? Most of your life at this point to get to this point. But now it's behind you. And so be done, right? Is that the way you feel about it? How do you really feel about it? Is it a big deal? What do you think? Just be done with it. There's a lot of people that way, man. Just get me through this so I can move on. I got to get out that door so I can get in the world, start doing what I got to do. There's a lot of people feel that way. Other people use this as a start of their academia, right? We learned some good skills going to school. We learned some tools that we could use. We learned how to study. We learned how to make some good friends. We learned how to kind of fit into a group. And now we want to go forward. We're headed to college, which is even more fun. It really is, because there's nobody really telling you where you got to be in college. It's opposite than it is here. You can kind of do what you want to do. You know why? You're paying for it. Every hour you waste, you're paying for it. Every degree you don't get, they still charge you and you pay for it. So the truth is, this is the end of your free education. From here on forward, you're going to pay for it out of your pocket. Now, I know that you paid a big price getting to here. You had to do your homework, you had to study, you had to keep your parents happy, you kind of had to stay out of trouble, and some of you really did that, huh? And some of you didn't. Some of you got in trouble and got over here, and I get it. I was one of those kids. I had to go get in trouble because school was a little boring for me, which meant I was a little bit handicapped. When my brothers and sisters started graduating, I was still there, and I got to watch them graduate. And I went, wait a minute, there's got to be something to give here. And I went and talked to my vice principal. He said, there's a school. They're just getting it started. This is back in the 70s. We're going to get it started. And for kids like you that we think should be able to graduate and move forward, but you're just getting in too much trouble, we're going to put you over in this school and you can work your own pace. And the cool thing then is only like 3-4 hours a day that we had to work, which gave me a lot of time to work my grandparents' cattle ranch, which is what I wanted to do. And I decided that was a good deal. And do you know what they did when I got over that school? Oh, man, they lit me up. They turned me on. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to study. I wanted to learn more. It was dawning on me that, oh, man, school doesn't have to be boring. It could be fun, and it could be exciting. So I was a slow processor, right, figuring that out. A lot of my classmates figured it out early and got graduated. I decided to hang around a little longer, go try a new school, and lo and behold, I got graduated. Do you know what I did when I graduated? You can't even guess what I did? Oh, yeah, buddy, right away. Time to go mix it up. I don't even want to waste any time in between. I'm going to go out there and get in the world and get started. And then the reality hit me. Do you know where they send you first? A boot camp. Okay. Can you imagine hell? Can you imagine it? So you can't do anything. You can't breathe unless they tell you to breathe. You can't use the restroom. You can't open your mouth to speak unless they give you permission to speak. It's really a different world. It's regiment hard, right? And I had a hard time with that. I had a real hard time with that. So it took them about 3 months to tune me up, and get me right. And lo and behold, I graduated from there, and I thought, man, I have arrived. So that should have done it, right? I mean, that's enough to get yourself busy. Could you imagine wanting to do more? That's plenty, right? Go on into the Marine Corps, go get everything taken care of, go do what I want to do, go get into great jobs. It was incredible. But I kept thinking about that school. And I kept thinking about how nice it was to be able to study and sit down and relax, and I could have a conversation with my friends in a place that the school provided, and it was okay. And you know what you can't do in the Marine Corps? Have long conversation with people when you feel like you want to, because you're always headed somewhere else. And you got to be on time. So if they tell you to be there at 5 a.m., that means you start lining up at 2:30 a.m. There's only one excuse for being late in the Marine Corps. You know what it is? It better come with your death certificate in your hand. Nothing else is good enough. So it's a really different world, right? We're going on, but all of a sudden I got this thing, I want to go to school. I want to study more. So what do you think I did? I started college. I went back to school. I'm 66 years old this year. I finally finished my doctorate 3 years ago. Now you think about how long I've been in school. Holy mackerel. And what I found out, I really like school. I like the learning environment. I like the ability to be able to sit down and talk. And I wanted to be successful. Have you all thought about success? What does it take to be successful, do you think? You got to work hard, that's for sure. Nobody's going to give it to you, probably. What else? You need to be lucky, be in the right place at the right time. What if you don't have the skill set they're looking for at that time? The whole world's opening up and everybody's looking. In my case, it was civil engineers. Everybody was looking for a civil engineer. And guess what? There weren't any of. There were no civil engineers. So I said, well, I'll just be a civil engineer, which was a great idea, except it takes 9, 10 years to do it. 10 years later, when we started that track, guess how many civil engineers were out of work? All but 4. I think there were thousands of them. They couldn't even work at McDonald's. I'm serious, there were so many. So I learned that I got to time this thing. I've got to figure out what the need is, what I really want to do, and the timing of that situation. Do you know there are some people that didn't have to worry about timing at all? Do you believe that? Some people are just born lucky, or they're just born good, or maybe they're just born at the right time. And in our case, I can give you an example. Who's heard of Mozart? We've heard of Mozart? You know he was a child prodigy and started playing in all the high places at an early young age, and he just went on to success. It was that simple. He just touched those keys and started, and that was the end of that. He was on his way. Is that the way your life's been going? No, mine neither. And if I did touch the keys, everybody'd run. It's just not what they want me to do, and I don't want to do it either. So I'd say I'm on the other side of that fence. I'm the guy that's going to have to work hard. In fact, I may have to earn it 3 or 4 different times to be able to keep it. So I went ahead and did a little research because I wanted to know, what are the other people like me? How did they do it? And do you know what I found out? I found the coolest stuff. It'll shock you. Did you know that Isaac Newton was like me? I didn't know Isaac Newton was like me. At the age of 17, he was removed from school in order that he wanted to learn how to be a farmer because that's what his father did. But Newton hated farming. He preferred to read. And he certainly didn't want to farm, and worse than that, he was absent-minded, and he neglected his chores. So eventually he was readmitted to school to finish his education and then admitted to Cambridge, which is over there in Europe. And even there, he was undistinguished. He disappointed his tutor with a bunch of ignorance, and it was only when the university was closed for 2 years that Newton pursued his study at home and began to show signs of some intellectual brilliance. Would you call that a failure? By the world standard, he was a failure. Now, I want you to think about everything that he's gone on to do. But at that point, he was a failure. He didn't let it stop him. How about Abe Lincoln? Everybody's heard about Lincoln, right? He's one of our favorite presidents. What do you think happened with him? Do you think he grew up, went out, slayed the world, everything he touched was just golden, and he went on and became one of our best presidents? You believe that? Well, you may be shocked to find out at the age of 23, he announced his candidacy for election to the Illinois General Assembly, which is where he was going to start. With the election some months away, he did what all good young men want to do. He went to serve in the Illinois militia for the Black Hawk War, and he entered as a captain. How do you think he left his military service? Oh, a private. He left the service as a private. Now, I don't have to tell you that's probably a military fail in a really big way. And we probably know a few people that have done that. I know a few people that have done that. They deserved that private. Well, his success wasn't there, but when the election came around, he went ahead and ran like he wanted to. You would think that he won, right? You know the story. He finished 8th out of 11. Oh, he was frustrated. What the heck is going on? So his next brilliant move was to buy a small general store with a friend he'd known from the service. The local economy was doing really well. The timing was good. Lincoln didn't prosper and eventually sold his shares. It was only when he ran for office 2 years later that he was successfully elected, but he really never saw big success in his career until he switched course and began to teach himself law in order to be admitted to the bar. He had to walk through those failures to understand what his real call was, and in his case, it was going for the bar. Who's heard of Walt Disney? Am I the only one? Y'all never heard of Walt Disney? Okay. And he's got a certain cartoon character that he's really well known for, right? and it was Oswald, right? It wasn't Oswald? You're kidding. Oh, man. All right. He experienced a lot of failures. At one point in his life, his finances were in such bad state that he ate dog food to survive. It got that bad. His first studio, the Laugh-O-Gram, lasted 2 years before going bankrupt. By 1926, he created this really successful cartoon character in the form of Oswald the Rabbit. And when he tried to negotiate a higher fee for producing the series, he found out that his fee was going to be zero, and worse than that, he didn't own the rights to the cartoon character. Oh, it was a hard lesson. He was pretty upset. The company he was working for gave him an ultimatum. He could accept the reduced fee or have the character and the staff taken from him. He declined, lost his staff and the character. But the loss of Oswald ultimately became Walt Disney's biggest gain, because the next character he created, the character that he created, was remembered a whole lot longer than Oswald. Can you imagine who it was? Mickey Mouse. That's right. It took the failure to get there. He didn't give up. Who knows about Lady Gaga? Nobody? Am I it? Okay, I got a few people. Thank you for doing that. Have y'all ever heard of Lady Gaga? Do you think she's a pretty good singer? Do you think she's pretty creative? Okay. She started life, she was privileged and troubled. Privileged because her parents were wealthy and her talent nurtured. From the age of 11, she was given singing lessons by Christina Aguilar's singing coach, but she was troubled. She couldn't get away from the relentless bullying that she faced at school. She was signed by a record label at 19, but they dropped her just 3 months later. No one seemed to be interested in her as an artist, though she found work writing songs for other artists, including Britney Spears. But that changed when Lady Gaga came into contact with singer, rapper, and producer Akon, who heard her songs and signed her to his own label. And her first album, you've heard of it, The Fame, must have made her original label so upset and wished that they had kept her. It was the 5th best-selling album of the year, won 2 Grammy Awards, was #1 in 9 countries, and catapulted the former bullied student to worldwide stardom. So what did they have in common, do you think? What did they have in common? Willing to work hard for sure. Didn't give up. Didn't matter what happened to them. Didn't matter what everybody thought. What else? There wasn't a whole lot of opportunity presented to them at the time. Yeah? Timing maybe, luck. Well, how do we get luck? How do we do it? I can tell you how I got luck. I hung around with people smarter than me. I'm telling you now, I hung around with people smarter than me. I hung around with successful people. I wanted to know what they did. And guess what? They did everything I was doing. There wasn't a difference in the way we grew up. It wasn't a difference in the way we did things. It wasn't a difference in the way we started our day. There was a little difference on maybe how driven they were to accomplish their goal versus how I was driven, right? I knew I would get there. I wasn't maybe as driven as hard as they were, but we had a lot in common, and it surprised me. So I can remember going to a speaking. Did anybody here ever go to hear Zig Ziglar speak? He was a motivational speaker. Ever do that? You got to be older. He was back in the day, but he was an incredible guy. He could fire you up where you came from. And I remember sitting in the audience and he said, do you think it possible that if you had a week, if I gave you 7 days, you could do something that would make your life worse? Well, heck, everybody raised their hand. That's pretty easy. I can go get in trouble with the law. I can go get in trouble at school. That's a lot of things I can do to get in trouble, which will make my life worse. And he said, now how many of you, same people, could take those same 7 days and think of something you could do to make your life better? There wasn't many hands that went up. And I was not one of them that raised my hand either, because I didn't want to come off as kind of silly or dumb in front of a room. So I waited to see what was going to happen. And he said, a lot of you are having a hard time realizing that you can change your life. There are things you can choose to do to make your life better. It really is a choice, but you got to think about it. So maybe you try a little harder. Maybe you get up a little earlier. Maybe you go back to school. Maybe you get a better degree. Maybe you go do a little extra work somewhere that needs help and let it move into something else. You start finding the things that you could do. So now it's about getting busy to go do those things, right? So it's kind of like being a hustler. isn't it? Just a little bit. You got to go hustle your deal and figure out what it is you want to do. Let me ask you a question. If you don't hustle and go find something to do, who's going to do it for you? Well, your parents won't do that for you? Your little brother would. Your sister? Your cousins? Your grandpa? Nobody? Okay, so it's up to you, isn't it? So now you got to ask yourself, do you want to be successful? And then what is success? What is success? And I finally went home and asked my grandpa that. And we grew up on ranches, long time, everybody in the military. He was a pretty confident person and pretty happy. The rest of my family was pretty grumpy. So if they were successful, you sure couldn't tell by the frown on their face. But Grandpa was pretty happy. I said, Grandpa, what makes a person successful? What is success? And he said, son, it's liking what you have to do. I said, what? He said, it doesn't matter what you decide to do. Make sure you like it and then go be good at it. And he said, I love ranching. So for me, it doesn't get any better than this. And it's funny, too, because all the fences were falling down. Cows were out all the time. You know, from my perspective now, man, we needed a lot of help. But for him, he was success, and that was paradise. So it becomes a personal thing for each and every one of us, right? How successful do you want to be is a question you need to ask yourself. For the gentlemen in the group here, I'm sure it's a nice car. And there were some nice cars that pulled up out here. I saw them. Now, I don't know if y'all are driving them or not. There's some nice cars that pulled up out here. But for me, it was having my own ride and having a nice car. And after I got my car, then it was having my own place. You know, I would settle for a nice apartment, but I wanted it to be mine with my stuff in there. And then later, I wanted it to be my own house. And then later, I wanted it to be my own family. Now get this. Later, I wanted it to be my own business. Later, I wanted it to be my own corporation. Later, I wanted it to be the tallest office building in Dallas. I wanted to be the most successful. I found out that I could do anything that I set my mind to if I was willing to work hard and do it. But I needed to be in the right group. I needed to hang with the right people. I needed to learn some lessons that I didn't know, which meant if I was going to try, 9 out of 10 times, I was going to fail. Does that mean that I accept failure? No. It means that I know it's part of my journey to get there. You can't show me a real successful person that never will leave the bedroom to try something. Never, ever. You've got to try, which means you might fail. And failing is not the end of the world. Failure is that thing that tunes us up, that thing that sharpens our metal, the things that teaches us what we need to know so that we can get better. Because on the next rodeo, oh man, we know more and we can do better in what we're doing. Some of us may have to go at it 5, 6, 10, 25 times, right? It doesn't matter as long as we don't give up, as long as we don't quit. So for me, tenacity is a pretty strong trait. What does that mean? What does tenacious mean? That's a big word, but what does it mean? Never giving up. Just never giving up. It's what settled the state of Texas. It's what made America. It's tenacity. In my group, we call that grit. You just won't let go, backbone. We're just not willing to settle for anything less than that. And we're willing to pay the price, whatever it is, to get there. You're going to learn a lot about that in the Marine Corps in the first 3 months. They don't let you quit. And you'll see some people that try. You'll see some people that try. Don't you be one of them. You muscle through it. If Dr. Hill made it and I made it, anybody can make it. You just got to want it. It doesn't mean you're not going to fail. It doesn't mean that you're not going to do some things wrong. I promise you, you will. It's okay. Dust yourself off, get up, square your head, and go again. And they respect that. They don't respect the person that lays there in the dirt whining or blaming it on everybody else. It's just not going to happen. And that's true life in what we're doing. So y'all have already got that Texas grit. You've already got your willingness. You're not going to accept failure. We've already talked about that. You understand it's a tool to sharpen ourselves. Anybody play football? Ever? I'm it. We got a lot in common, brother, you and I. A lot of hard lessons. One of my favorite coaches was Vince Lombardi, and he was a people builder. He was a giant for bringing the best out in people. And he was being interviewed one day, and I saw that interview, and he said, if you will show me a man that's not willing to accept defeat. He said it happens, and there's times we lose. But you show me a man that's not willing to accept that as normal, and I'll show you a champion. So it's attitude now, right? It's what we're not willing to accept. So don't accept failure. It's going to be part of life. Accept it, and then move on. Learn from it. It takes heart. It takes tenacity, courage. It really takes good support. It takes strong friends and good companions, but it can be done. So again, I'll ask you Zig Ziglar's question. Is there something you could do in the next 7 days to make your life better? Sure there is. It's a choice, right? So here it is, guys, coming from 66 years of hard work and businesses. And I never started a business when times were good because I didn't have to. I could go find a good job. I had to start businesses when nobody could find work. And I had to feed my family. So I go figure out what the need was, come up with a way to get it started, and get running. And I was successful. 3 times I started businesses when nobody else even thought of it, and then sold them for really big money when nobody would. You can do anything, I'm telling you, as long as you can think about it. So every day that I wake up, I realize it's a choice, and I ask God, now I'm a preacher here at the church, I ask God to make me just a little better today than I was yesterday. I don't think I could handle it all if He gave it to me too quick. I'd probably not accept it, knowing me. I'm kind of a knucklehead. It's got small steps for me, small steps, slow processing for me. Make me a little better today than I was yesterday, and I'm happy with it. I've got to believe in me. And the world's out there to tell you you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, you couldn't. And I'm here to tell you, and Dr. Hill will verify this, guaranteed, can't, never could. Don't get that can't attitude. It doesn't belong in your head. Put that behind you, and you stand up and look everything in the eye, and you go forward. You be the people that you know you're going to be, no matter what happens. And if it's failure, smile, dust yourself off, stand back up, learn the lesson, and go forward. If you fell in a hole, know where that hole is next time and don't step in it. Learn to get around it. Learn to get over it. Learn to get under it. Learn and go forward. And you have the ability to learn, and you wouldn't be graduating. So that trait's already in you, right? Invest in yourself. Now, we want to go invest in cars and buildings and houses and all the other stuff. Remember you. Remember you. Invest in you. Take care of you. When I was a firefighter, they taught us in the academy the most important thing on the fire field was us. And I found that hard to believe because we're out there trying to save lives. How could we be the most important thing on the fire field? They said, if you go out there and get yourself hurt, we've got to spend all the time trying to rescue you. What's happening to the other people that we're there to take care of? You've got to take care of you so that we can all, as a team, make a difference for the people we're trying to help. Take care of you, and take care of you well. Invest in yourself. Make good choices. You're going to make some bad choices. It's life. Make some good choices from that. Learn. Don't do that again. Move forward and make better choices next time, and always try your best. And the truth is, there's nothing you can't do if you're serious and apply the understanding I just gave you. So from this church and from me, and I'm sure from your staff and your teachers and everybody else, I'm going to ask God to bless you richly, bless your life, move you forward, be the people you need to be. We're proud of you here. And I don't even know you, and I'm proud of you, especially this young man wearing that marine color. He doesn't even know what it means yet, probably, does he? Have you given him some tune-up? Okay, so you know what you're walking into. A lot of us stepped in and had no idea what we were stepping into. And it was an eye-opener and a half. But we did get through it, and that's the thing. So go at it aggressively, go at it passionately, and go give it your all, and it'll be a success for you. Amen? All right, thank you.
Thank you for those encouraging
You're welcome.
words. At this time, I would like to ask our regional director, Ms. Roxanne Butler, to come join me for the certification of graduates. Will the class of 2026 please stand? Ms. Butler, it is my pleasure to present you, the Premier High School and Texas Works Longview Senior Class of 2026. They have completed all of the requirements as prescribed by our Board of Directors to participate in the commencement ceremony.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. On behalf of the Texas Education Agency and the Board of Directors, I accept these students as candidates for graduation.
Right. As Mr. Brown calls the names of our graduates, please remember that we are about to recognize them as individuals as they come onto the stage. This is the only opportunity in their lives that this particular individual recognition will occur. Would you please keep that foremost in your mind so that the name of each student can be heard by all present? All right, Mr. Brown, students.
For our first name, Isabella Spencer. Melody Ann Carter. Keegan McCord. Sawyer Stone. Curtis Williams. And graduating with Texas Works, Miss Mackenzie Kelm.
All right, so the next thing is extremely near and dear to my heart. You know, we call it the tassel ceremony. So, will the class of 2026 please rise for the turning of the tassels? Listen carefully, for the sounds you hear tonight will last a lifetime. Store them up, say them in your hearts, for they are priceless. Each whisper, each tick of the clock is a reminder of something you've gained while here at Premier High School and Texas Works of Longview. Pay attention so when you hear them later in life, you will remember. The years seem to pass all too quickly. We have not even adjusted to the present when it is time to move into the future. We have achieved our goals and secured our friendships. Yet, this is not a time for saying goodbye, because our memories will always keep us together. No matter how large your dreams may seem, the power of your mind, coupled with the feeling in your heart, will provide you with the strength to achieve your dreams. For one who dreams with love has no need to fear. Love your dreams. Be true to your heart, and your dreams will come true. Please join me in turning your tassels to represent the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. Go ahead and take your tassels from the right and move it to the left. Congratulations, graduates. Thank you so very, very much. Good job. That came up. Came on. All right. All right, so what you guys are going to do is you're going to go ahead and turn and go out the way. Great job. Our graduates, congratulations. And that concludes our commencement ceremony. Thank you, parents, family,